I'd had a few people talk to me complaining about problems about their DAW outputting video and not laying back to video and bouncing to QuickTime. And it's just not the way I've done it. It's really inefficient for a couple reasons, so I'm going to try and quickly run you through that. The first thing is usually when you get a video, or at least when I've gotten a video anytime for the last 10 years, it's an MP4 file. I mean, maybe it's a QuickTime movie.mov file, but it's an MP4 file that's got the MOV tag on it. These are really great because they're really small files and they're translatable across a lot of devices. So they're great for, watching videos on the internet and sending to your friend and stuff. But they're interframe codecs, which means that it takes a photo of a keyframe and then each subsequent frame only has kind of part of the frame. I'll put a link in on this. So then interframe codecs don't work really well in DAWs because it makes interframe codecs make the CPU do a lot of work to kind of render in the stuff that's not in the intervening frames. So if you're using a lot of CPU to render a video codec, then your CPU don't have available in your DAW. What is usually recommended is to transcode your video into a intraframe codec. That means each frame is a full picture. The most common of these that I see asked for bounced around are Apple ProRes or Avid DNX HD or Avid DNX HR. I use Avid DNX HD because I'm using Pro Tools. So it's just a little more comfortable. It also works just fine in Video Slave Pro 4. Here's what I do. I have a video loaded into a session. I have the voiceover and effects for the video, and then I have 3 music tracks. And even if I don't have the video in the session, which sometimes I don't, I will always import the audio from the video, the original video. That's this one. So I see here, this is the same length as the video. So what I then do is I've made a little fade out on my music bus, all 3 of my music tracks going through music bus. So I make sure they're out before the video. Then what I'll do is I will select my voice and sound effects track that I got from the video. And this is important to notice because you'll see when I made my music only tracks, I put 2 beeps at the top, which is great if you're sending a music track to a client and they can lay it up. But if you have to do the layback yourself for preview, just do it this way. Load your music tracks in here. Start your video at an hour. Import your audio track from your video so it starts at the same time as the video. Select that. So at least in Pro Tools, if I select this location, you'll see up here the arrows show that's the area that's going to be bounced. So I'm going to bounce the audio, which right here is just music 1 through my music sub through my master, and the VO and effects. And I'm going to do it here as music D1 for demo 1 or whatever. And I'll probably just do it like this, 1624, and I'll make it 44 because you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to do that with that. Music D2. Music D3. I should probably call these like music mix D1, D2, D3, but whatever. Okay, so save that. What I'm going to do is close this, and you will see I have 3 bounce files, music D1, D2, D3, and that has the mix of the music with the voiceover and sound effects from the session that I did. So the next 2 steps are kind of important. If you use Logic, or I don't know if Cubase or Ableton do it, but maybe you can export your audio as an AAC or M4A file. They're the same thing. They're basically an MP4 file audio segment. Pro Tools can't do that. Yeah, they're annoying as hell. So my next step is to use this program Shutter Encoder, which is going to be even more important in a minute. It's free. Just look it up online. So what I do here is I drag my wave into here, and I'm going to choose convert to AAC, bitrate 256 because that's kind of standard. And I'm going to use this because it's a render queue. So then I press here, add to queue. Remove that one. Doing this one, add to queue. This is again not a step that you have to take if you don't have if you can output an AAC file. So I've got my 3 wave files in here. Convert, and there we go. And what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to make a M4A folder because eventually I will be deleting these, but not yet. So then what I'm going to do, you'll see I have videos. I'm going to clear this, and we're going to start a new session. This time I'm going to choose the function replace audio. So I'm going to take my test video, which is the one I was working to, and I'm going to take the first demo, D4A, and I'm going to choose at longest, just in case my audio file is slightly longer or the video file is slightly longer, it'll make the resultant file slightly longer. So add to queue. I'm going to remove the demo 2, add to queue, remove that. Demo 3, add to queue. I'm going to check my queue thing out. So it's going to make 3 videos, launch the render queue. And unfortunately, it names things in this weird way, which is kind of a drag. If you're a good scripter, maybe you can figure out how to do this. So instead, I'm just going to go in order and say, because it adds mix onto the end, so I'm going to go music 2, and here I'm going to go music 3. Of course, you should check this before anything, but if you play back, you'll see I've got video, and I don't think you can hear it, but I'm going to tell you that there is sound and it's mixed and it's the correct demos. So there I've got 3 tracks ready to go to the client. And this is important because they like to see the same sort of thing that they sent you usually. Again, you're going to be working with an Intraframe codec in your DAW. That's up here is my test video DNX AG36. Now, notice that this is something you can also do in Shutter Encoder. I'm going to drag the original MP4 that I got from the client, and I'm going to select Editing Codecs DNX HD. I'm going to make it 36 instead of 120 because it just means a smaller file, slightly less quality, but it's just me here in my studio. No one else is going to see it. I don't need to have a queue on this one. This is kind of pointless. If you're only doing one function, converting one video, adding one demo to layback, you don't press this, you just hit start function, and great. All right, so here comes the whole question about why you convert. So the MP4, as I said, it's a Interframe codec, so it's a much smaller file. You see it's 24.8 megabytes. That's what the client sent to you. But it won't really be happy in your DAW. So I've done that here, and it'll make Pro Tools really happy because I'm not sucking up all the CPU for video. But look how big it is. The file is 173 megabytes. And you're not really adding any quality to it by making bigger. You're just making it so it'll be happier when you're working with it. So if you were going to bounce this out of your DAW, then potentially you're sending your client a 173 megabyte file. Not a great move. They probably wouldn't appreciate it, especially if they're watching on their phone or a laptop or slow internet. So you want it to go back to an MP4. So if you were to bounce out of your DAW with this file, which you've already converted once and didn't add anything to, if you convert it back to an MP4, you're losing quality, but since you've already done 2 conversions now, you're probably not getting any better quality. It's probably going to look worse while being the same file size as what they originally sent you, which is why I like to use the file they originally sent me. So that's why I take this file they sent me, drop it into Shutter Encoder, and do replace audio, and all it does is replace the audio track. It doesn't re-encode the video. So then you end up with videos that are almost the same size. These are slightly longer, you'll notice, because the audio tracks that I had on them are a little bit longer. Then you send your 3 videos to your client, and you send them your 3 full quality music only tracks with the 2 beep on them, and everyone's happy. And I hope this helped you and cleared up some confusion. If there are further questions, let me know in the comments.